यूनिवर्सिटी के जर्नल में छापने के लिए कम से कम 1 साल 2 साल का रिसर्च करना पड़ता है. There are many people who have published 5 research papers in 5 months in the same journal and have become eligible to apply for professor promotion, and they have become professor also. ऐसा भी है इंडिया में, ऐसे भी हो रहा है. You have to set your own rules. Academic integrity बहुत जरूरी है. Now I request Professor Sheeba Hamid ji to address you on this very important theme. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I'm so glad that you initiated the session. I'm very lucky that way. And yes, certainly, this is one of the most important topics to be discussed in any FIP today, because academic integrity, as we all know, has no set universal or national rules or regulations. In India, we know that the University Grants Commission has given us some guidelines regarding that. We have to follow that. The latest ones being the 2018 one. And institutions from time to time keep on, revising their policies and, guidelines regarding academic integrity. Sir very rightly said that it is research related.
Just madam, one more example.
Yes.
Delhi University Vice Chancellor, I'm forgetting his name. He went to jail for 1 day because of plagiarism charge. उनके जूनियर ने कहा कि इन्होंने मेरा डेटा यूज किया है. I think what was his name? अभी मैं नाम याद आएगा तो मैं बता दूंगा.
जी जी. So it's a very good opportunity for me to speak to the youngsters on this very sensitive topic. And since there are many questions in our mind, what is academic integrity and what is actually to be followed? How do we determine what is the framework of academic integrity? That is the major question today, and that is the major challenge today, because if you start studying about academic integrity, if you start reading about academic integrity, it is very difficult to find or to put it inside a framework what is academic integrity. So every time a problem occurs or something unwanted happens, it's a long brooding over things, going through regulations, going through the case, and then any committee or anybody tries to arrive at a conclusion. Rightly said by sir today that it is related to research, very deeply related with research, of course. But I think in the life of a teacher, academic integrity has to be understood with a 360-degree approach. It is not just about research. It is about how we are delivering our services in the universities, colleges, in various institutions, the way we conduct our classes, the way we award marks, the way we check the copies, the way we train our students, the way we treat our students, and anything and everything connected with the life of a teacher in everyday functioning of the institutions also. Because I think we are amongst one of those lords who are forever conscious that we are teachers. And the scope for making mistakes for us is very, very severely limited. We are not allowed to make mistakes. We have to set an example. We have to be a role model. We have, to create an image and become like one so that others can follow us. So it is a very difficult task. And academic integrity, as I perceive, does not remain limited to what kind of research are we undertaking. We are teachers. For us, academic integrity is anything and everything that we are doing in our academic life. And I don't know whether should I say that it is an unfortunate part or a fortunate part that a teacher never ceases to be a teacher even after university hours, even after, the working hours are over. Because when you go out, you're sitting in a cafe, you are supposed to behave in a way, anybody could be around, one of your students. Since I happen to be from the field of tourism, and all my students, are into this industry, hospitality, restaurants, airports, etc. So wherever I go, I'm always conscious that you never know, somebody whom I know, whom I've taught, my senior, my junior, my fellow colleague, somebody from my fraternity must be watching me. And many a times it does happen that you're crossing through an airport, you are checking in or something, you find someone. So all the time, a teacher is conscious that he or she has to look like one, behave like one, and so much so that, when we are talking to someone, even if we are angry, what kind of voice modulation do we have? What choice of words do we have, even if we have to reprimand someone or, oppose something or something like that? So this is my idea of academic integrity. Of course, it is research related, and research related cases are most often in news, discussed, and this is what is going on in our mind. But the academic integrity of a teacher, in my viewpoint, is not limited to that, and we'll take a 360-degree approach to see how a teacher can exercise academic integrity. But first, we have to understand and take a deeper look into it. So I would like to share a presentation with you.
The name of the vice chancellor who was arrested, Delhi University, is Deepak Pental. I had met him in one of the selection committees. He acknowledged that he misused the data, and later he was released on bail. That is why be very careful about faking research data.
Yes, sir, I do agree with that, because, 10 years from hence, or let us say 12, 15 years from hence, the kind of referencing that we are putting in today, the kind of referencing that we are using today was very different from what we were doing 10, 12 years back, 15 years back. So, the proper writing methods have to be followed, and that is, I think, maybe somebody has missed out or something like that. So, that's what, in research methodology, we train the students first how to do referencing. That's very important. So if you have quoted the author or the group of authors or, the database, you are safe. I would like to share my screen now. Can you see the slide?
Yes, madam.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So please prompt me in case you feel there is some problem with the slide, because now my screen is, full of the slide now in front of me. So this is the topic which I have actually taken up today: the benefits, challenges, and practices in academic integrity. So as I said, first we have to properly understand what is academic integrity, and not in parts. So academic integrity is the commitment to honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility in scholarship. Number two, it underpins the credibility and value of educational systems globally. That's very true. As Sir said, that it is not the integrity. Integrity, we all know. What is it? It is how we behave when we are not being watched. What do we do, right or wrong, when we are not being watched? That is integrity. Because in front of everyone, of course, we'll do the right thing. But what do we do when nobody is watching us? That decides the level of integrity of an individual. Academics is a field which is most noble, as we all know. We belong to the noblest profession in the world. We are supposed to be, producing nation builders. We produce doctors, engineers, technocrats, and whatnot. And that is why the position of a teacher has always been on the highest pedestal. So academic integrity is something very, very deep. And it is not just a definition or a framework, a few guidelines, a few rules. It's a behavior. It's nature. It's a nature that has to be imbibed, taken in, and it has to be so much inside us that it becomes contagious for other people to follow. And that is why it is a commitment. The very first line that says academic integrity is the commitment to honesty. The moment we decide to be honest, to be fair, not to breach trust, uphold respect, and be responsible in our field, we establish credibility in the minds of students, in the minds of colleagues, in the minds of our institution. And that is what builds value of any educational institution. All right, rankings, NAC, NIRF rankings, grades, several ranking systems that are followed globally do matter to a great extent. But what do we see when we are selecting an institution? For example, if your younger brothers and sisters are going out to study, or your children are going out to study, or it's time to choose an institution for them, of course, the very first thing that we do is visit the website of that particular institution, see, okay, infrastructure is something very good. If it is good, very nice. But what do we see? Faculty. What is their credibility? And how do we establish their credibility? By seeing what is their research output, what is their teaching output, right? And what actually is the profile of the faculty of that particular institution. Because we feel that we want to ensure that we entrust our loved ones into ableist hands. So, and of course, it is very easy to find out about anyone nowadays. If you want to find out about any professor from any university, you can do it within seconds at the click of the mouse. So establishing credibility, particularly in the age of social media and AI, artificial intelligence, is all the more challenging today. And there are more challenges because of the AI that has come up, People are using ChatGPT and so many other things, which do the writing for you. Now, that's another big discussion. That's still, a discussion which has not arrived at a proper conclusion, whether it is right or whether it is wrong. So proceeding with the presentation. Academic integrity ensures original work and respect for intellectual property. Again, not only in publications, not only in research writings, research papers, but even if we are quoting, you're talking about a theory. I may not like to teach a theory in the class just by putting...
Your slide is not moving. The first page is already there here.
Can you see the introduction slide?
No, academic
Only
integrity.
the title page.
No,
title
ma'am,
page.
the title page.
Only the title page we are seeing.
Okay. Just wait then.
बीजापुर सर।
हाँ जी।
प्रणाम सर। मेरा जो सर्टिफिकेट आया है सर,
सर बाद में डिस्कस कीजिए सर बाद में डिस्कस कीजिए।
का बाद में बात कीजिए, अभी लेक्चर चल रहा है। सर्टिफिकेट
गलत हो गया है सर।
we'll sort out later. 2 बजे।
जी ओके सर।
अभी लेक्चर में डिस्टर्ब मत कीजिए, लेक्चर को होने दीजिए।
Can you see it now?
No मैडम, अभी भी पहला आप अभी आ गया।
This is the second.
Yes,
That's the problem. The moment you put it on slideshow, on full show, this kind of a thing happens. So is it visible like this? Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this was the first one, the title slide. This is the second slide, that is academic integrity, which I was talking to you about. And this is the next slide that we are going to, take up. So I was talking to you about academic integrity ensures original work and respect for intellectual property. So I was telling you that it's not only when we are writing a research paper that we have to do the referencing very intricately, very meticulously, but even when we are taking, our classes and we're teaching, let me give you an example that if I'm teaching a theory in a class, now I may not like to begin with something like, writing the theory or taking a theory slide on the projector and quoting the one who has given the theory, the author first. I may like to, introduce the components of the theory through discussions, write points on the board, right, and then say, see, this is what this theory has, the author has theorized, right? So if I do the taking out the components and I write it on the board and I say it means this, and I do not mention that this theory has been propounded by such and such author, then again that does not reflect well on my integrity. It is not my theory. This is not my concept. So if I fail to mention the author, I have done something wrong. For example, if one of my students is sick and he or she has to submit an assignment within 2 days, so what do? I take out some old assignment and give it to that student and say that you can do it from here. Now that assignment which I have given the sick student does not carry any references, any bibliography, etc., or any citations, and that student reproduces it under his or her name. So I have shown him the wrong way. If I had to give an assignment, I should have made sure that it is an assignment with proper referencing, bibliography, and proper citations to take help from them, and that it is not reproduced in the way the assignment that is being given. So it's not something intentional. It is not that I wanted him to replicate the assignment. No, it's something very common. Anybody can do it. But have we ever thought about it that giving such books or assignments or training reports or project reports, all that align with the teachers to the students, are we doing them any good? Are we showing them the right way? But we did it because there's no such rule. There's no such regulation which stops us from doing that. But then what are we doing? We're showing the student the wrong way. So building an academic environment where not we do the right thing and train our students to do the right thing, that is the foundation of a trustworthy academic environment. And all of us, students and teachers both, and the institutions. An institution just does not comprise of teachers and students. It comprises of the so many non-teaching staff that are there. It comprises of so many helpers, support staff that is there, technical staff that is there. All have to be included in that. And the principle for ethical learning and ethical way of doing work has to be, inculcated. And that's a Herculean task. It's very difficult to do it. Now, there is an International Center for Academic Integrity, which has given us 6 core values that are honesty, trust, fairness, respect, responsibility, and courage. Now, we can understand honesty, trust, fairness, respect, and responsibility. Of course, that all comprise of integrity. But why courage? Because it takes time, double the efforts, or let us say triple or 4 times the efforts, to do something which is original, to do things from the scratch. It takes courage to do that. It is very easy to pick up things from here and there and then proceed. So it takes courage. That also is an important component of academic integrity. And these values, including courage, serve as guiding principles for ethical academic behavior. And this is adopted by institutions worldwide to promote integrity culture. The scope of this presentation is going to be about exploring benefits, identifying challenges, and showcasing best practices. And this will be based on global academic literature and institutional policies. And it will focus both on traditional and online learning environments, because online learning cannot be kept out of focus or scope nowadays. More or less, we have moved into an hybrid mode of education now. Many things are being done, and with the new education policy in full swing that has been there, we know that how much use of technical things have to be there. We are designing online tests, we are thinking about training programs, we are thinking of so many labs, and these are being done as part of the new education policy. So online learning is one of the new challenges when it comes to talk about academic integrity. Why does it matter? Why is it important to have an academic environment that has integrity? Because, as I said, that is what builds image of the institution. That is what creates value of a teacher. That is what creates value of the courses being taught. That is what gives value to the research output of an institution. Because integrity sustains academic credibility and fairness. And all of us know very well that it is very easy to work and produce good results at a place which has a good system in place, where we know that this is right and this is wrong. A place where there is confusion, a place which does not have an established and foolproof system to work in, always is full of, discontent, disputes, grievances, etc. So if you have an academic integrity environment, I think it's very easy to fit into that. And one does not feel that, there is any kind of nepotism or favoritism towards one group or one person. Then it also prepares our students for ethical professional conduct, because we know that university is the breeding ground. University is the training ground for the budding professionals of tomorrow. They have to go and fill up various vacancies in the industry. And the industry also looks towards us to, give them good, I will say products, as students that can go and fit into their atmosphere, their environment very easily. And so a student who has been trained to behave professionally, ethically in the university is definitely going to take gel in very nicely with the professional atmosphere in the industry or any organization that he or she is going to work with. And therefore they are valued. And when industry starts to value particular institutions, it builds, the image of that institution is enhanced, because we know that the placement graph of this institution is very good. And then it becomes a sought after institution, because everybody wants to get into a university or a college or any institution that has a good placement record. Also, integrity matters, academic integrity matters, because in the absence of academic integrity, it erodes trust in qualification institutions. An institute which has not established its credibility in the student market, an institution which does not have a good image about following rules, regulations, and having a good academic environment with integrity is not generally a sought after one. Because there are some institutions, private or some other institutions that would, give a leeway for attendance. Even if the students have not turned up, they can, sit for examinations, write their exam and get through. Let us say this is one small example that I'm giving. So all these institutes do not carry a very good image when it comes to other stakeholders in the market. So to build trust, to build an image, to become a sought after institution, a sought after organization, academic integrity is the basic thing which has to be implemented, and everything else follows. Institutions follow international benchmarks like QAA, Quality Assurance Agency for Higher Education, then International Center for Academic Integrity that has set global academic integrity standards. And we all know that we are teachers, and all through our professional life, we travel abroad, we travel within the country for various academic assignments, for conferences, for workshops, to deliver a talk, to attend training programs, to, do so many academic assignments of so many nature. We are part of committees, we are expert members, and we do so many things all across in the academic world. So when I'm moving, within India, how do I have to behave? When I'm moving outside India, how do I behave? So I have to be aware of the academic environment, of course, fully aware of the rules, regulations that exist within my country. And if I'm going abroad, for example, if I'm going to any country in South Asia, I know what the bench, that's by dialogue and that's by learning and reading that we come to know what are the benchmarks over there. If I'm traveling to, Europe, I should know what are the benchmarks over there, what is happening over there. What are their academic integrity standards? How am I supposed to behave there? What do they expect out of us, right? So, and what is prevalent over there? So cross-border education demands consistent integrity frameworks. And when we are moving out of our country, there are so many students who are going abroad to study now. They're going to Europe, they're going to US, they're going to New Zealand, they're going to Australia, they're going to so many other countries, Particularly Europe has so many premier institutions when it comes to researchers. So what does it demand? That, I may be fully aware of the work atmosphere when I'm working in any leading institution in India. But if I have to shift my location, if I want to go and work in Norway, let us say, if I want to go and work in, let us say, in any Gulf country, if I want to go and work in Singapore, let us say, then I have to first learn about what's the culture over there, what's the academic culture over there, and how do I fit into that culture? Some things which I have to understand, learn, and adopt immediately, and some things that I'm going to learn when I'm into that system. So, I have to make up my mind that, I have to change myself so much so that I fit into the atmosphere, the environment immediately over there. For example, if I work from, let us say, 9:30 to 3:30 over here, I know that if I go and take up a job in some other country, of course, I may have to be there by 8:30 and work till 5. I'm not supposed to leave the campus anyhow, right? Or maybe, if I have taken up a teaching cum research assignment, then how much am I expected to take up the teaching load? How much am I expected to take up the research load? And am I also going to be getting administrative responsibilities along with it? What is the culture of that country? What is the academic environment of that particular institution that I'm going to work if I'm crossing a border? So, but that is their integrity framework. And I may not have been working in the same atmosphere, but now I have to gel into the new one. So there is no set standard all across the world. That is one single standard and that is applicable everywhere. It's not like that. Digital era, of course, brings with it itself lots of risks, because it's still, I will not say it's in a nascent stage because it's growing very fast. But yes, with new inventions, with new discoveries, with new things coming every day. It brings with itself its own challenges, its own risks, its own new set of problems every day. So if we are dealing with uncertainty, we can say the biggest risk of digitalization, particularly in education, is the uncertainty that comes with it. It is here, one app is here today, tomorrow, 6 months from now, 1 year from now, 2 years from now, it will change. A new app will come. And it will be an improved version. And again, you have to get adjusted to it. So what is going to happen tomorrow as far as digitalization is concerned? Nobody knows. But yes, this is the culture today. This is the environment today that we have to adjust with anything new that comes into digital education. With the rise of AI tools, remote exams, and online content reuse, it complicates enforcement. But there are so many softwares now. Even when students submit their PhDs now or submit research papers to journals, there are so many. They have to give a plagiarism report also along with it. And in all the institutions now, there are apps which we all know, like Turnitin and so many other apps that give you a report of plagiarism. And there is a certain standard. Some institutions, some countries will say that below 10% is required. Some institutions, some countries will say 15% or below is permissible, or something like that. So there is no set standard, there's no set percentage, there is no set rule. But yes, plagiarism reports are a must today. And we are into the system today where I told you that we are taking online tests, we are taking online assignments, so integrity matters over there. If the exams are unsupervised, I'm talking about the online exams, they are unsupervised, there is no, no question that the students are not taking help on the other side. So even if we have to take online exams, it has to be in a supervised atmosphere. Then lack of supervision increases misconduct opportunities. That means that any of these digital education methods that we are following today, education and assessment methods that we are following today, they have to be under supervisory environment. Because as I said just now, I gave you the example also, that it can lead to misconduct. And you're giving opportunities for misconduct if you're leaving them unsupervised. And institutions must update policies to reflect digital realities. Yes, and from time to time, we have to be aware of what is going on, what new thing has come up, which new dispute arose, what is wrong suddenly. We've been doing it, and then suddenly we come to know that this is wrong. And then we have to take care that we do not do it. So constant update. Continuous updates have to be followed. There are many types of misconduct when it comes to academic environment. It could include plagiarism, it could include cheating, fabrication, collusion, and contract cheating. So we have to understand types that help in identifying and mitigating these risks. And preventive education is the key to reduction. If you train the students well ahead in the class, for example, if a new batch has come and they have to be introduced to the online system of tests and exams and how it has to be conducted, what are they supposed to do and what are they not supposed to do. We know how to invigilate in classrooms where the students are writing with the pen on their papers. They know how to behave. But while taking online tests, what are the things that one has to be aware of, the students and the teachers, that has to be taken care of, that has to be ensured. So the students also have to be educated and trained, and they have to be told from time and again that this is right and this is wrong when it comes to taking online tests. We've been talking about plagiarism. That's the most obvious kind of academic misconduct on the part of the teaching fraternity, the ones who are into research also, that you can, if you use others' work without citation, even if you use your own work, which you have, an earlier research, and you have quoted in your own paper, and you forget to mention yourself, that amounts to plagiarism. Such strict are the rules. And these lack of understanding, of course, results because of time pressure, and nothing is certain. You are not trained in that. And particularly the people from, let us say, our age group, who have seen two major, at least, transitions. One is regarding digitalization, and the other is this new education policy, have been two major, and earlier CBCS, which we saw, right? So we have seen these three phases, and we have sprung from one phase to another, getting adjusted into it. So still, there were certain things which we were not sure about is this a rule or not? Or if it is not a rule, if there is no rule regarding that, then is it right to do that or not? Can we be questioned on that or not? So nothing was, there was a complete lack of understanding. And that is why, it is very difficult to say that these are the 10 points which encompass academic integrity. It is something which is never ending. And we know that when we are talking about plagiarism, there are so many softwares I just mentioned, like Turnitin, SafeAssign, etc., which give you plagiarism reports. And then you can submit your work for publication, or submit your thesis, or any other research work that you have carried on. Now, coming to cheating. Cheating is something like when we talk about students, that they're gaining unfair advantage during assessments. It could be online assessment, it could be offline assessment. Taking help from others, asking questions from others, asking correct answer. We know how students cheat. But there are more grievous mistakes which they are making, is of impersonation, that somebody else is sitting over there. Somebody else, takes the admit card, the hall ticket, and enters in place of someone else and impersonates as that person. And that person who has impersonated is a better person to attempt, let us say, the entrance exam or the particular test or examination. So impersonation is a very serious crime. Then hidden aids. Hidden aids, like when people are using smartwatches, and there are so many new techniques have come up of cheating today, that they hide chips into their ears, or it's such a small thing, and they can hear from someone outside who's telling them the correct answers. So there's so many hidden aids. They try to smuggle into the classrooms, examination rooms, etc. And if not, that is why all the examination centers have come up with the metal detectors and some advanced form of checks before the student or the aspirant enters the entrance exam hall. And there are pre-shared answers also. And that is what is the violation of fairness and trust in evaluation systems, because if a student is able to cheat and goes unnoticed and is not caught, then he's had his way. Others who know that somebody has cheated in past and got another feather in the cap, that kills the trust in evaluation systems. That why did this happen? It's very demotivating for others who are practicing academic integrity. Fabrication and falsification is creating or altering data to suit hypothesis. Sir just spoke to us about it. He gave us an example also, that when we are into research, then what do we do is, just follow a similar study and take most of the things from there with just change of words and few data inputs here and there. And then, we mastermind or manipulate the thesis, whether to be accepted or not. So it is very common in research-based assessments and thesis, this fabrication and falsification of data. Of course, that brings down the scientific validity and can lead to retractions. If it is caught, it is a bad scene. academic cheating is a big crime. And more than that, you know, even if it has been, let's for one minute believe that it has been done, that mistake or that crime has been committed in complete innocence, even then, you know, your image is gone. The image of the person is gone forever. Now, unauthorized collaboration or outsourcing assignments. For example, if you give assignments to students, they're supposed to submit it or email it or, you know, update it on the Google Classroom or something of the kind. What happens is they catch someone else, you know, you can take some money from me, or you're very good at it. Even if it's, you know, the student's brother or sister who's very good at such things, can do the assignment. Anything wrong? Does somebody want to say something? Is there any problem? Can I continue?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm talking
Yes,
about
ma'am.
contract cheating. For example, you know, you give an assignment, and you know, we all have done that. Even I remember my, you know, my brother was 7 years my senior, and I would do all his assignments even as a, you know, I was young in school, and he had a happy time that you can do this for me. Or, you know, I had to copy his notes and things like that. So that was contract cheating that was going on. And because I did all his assignments and he went and submitted it. So this is an unauthorized collaboration, which should not be there. So it's not the person who's getting the marks on the assessment. He or she has not done that work, but it has been done by someone else. And you know, अगर हम सुने तो सुनने में बड़ा funny लगेगा कि ये तो हम सब ने किया है, लेकिन seriously सोच के देखिए कि वो तो contract cheating है, आउटसोर्स किया गया काम को. स्टूडेंट भी कर सकता है, टीचर भी कर सकता है. पहले जमाने में टीचर्स यूज्ड टू ब्रिंग कॉपीज होम एंड वो चेक होती थी. अब घर पे अगर वाइफ बहुत अच्छी है, बच्चे बहुत अच्छे हैं, तो वो भी कॉपीज चेक कर सकते हैं. So this is contract cheating, right? So, and it also involves paying someone to do your work. You know, you're not doing it yourself. There are, you know, so don't we get emails every day that we assist in thesis writing and we assist in this and that? Why should we take assistance from any company for us to do that? Why will you do it for, or, you know, you want to do something, you just tell ChatGPT and does it. Now, this for me is a big question, even that, is it wrong as an academic to take help from ChatGPT or not? This is a question which I would like to ask everyone, because I can have several things in support of that, several points in support of ChatGPT, and several points, you know, the drawbacks or the wrong part that I feel. So I fail to understand whether it is good or not. But then you are using an app to do something creative. And that creativity is not yours. You're just inputting data into a machine, and that is giving you a feedback. So it is just like, you know, that, you know, somebody is very good in writing poetry. So you go and discuss a concept with that person. You give him or her a concept, and 3 days later, he comes out with a beautiful poetry. So that poetry is not yours, the concept is yours. So if the poet does not acknowledge the concept given by you, you know, does not acknowledge you that you have given the concept of that poem, then it is wrong. And if you say that this is my poetry, then you are wrong. The poetry is his or hers, of the poets. But the concept, you know, you say that the concept was mine, written by. So, you know, what is it? You know, but in ChatGPT, we do not do any such thing. We do not quote ChatGPT. So, you know, it makes me feel that it's not something good. It's not integrity. So it is, this is what I mean when I say, you know, where even the point over here says that it is hard to detect what it is. And it is, but it is highly unethical. There are many risks of contract cheating also. that there are legal issues, there is, it could lead to degree revocation even, and professional disqualification. If caught, it can lead to serious consequences in the life of a teacher, in the life of a student. Students may be suspended or expelled. As I told you, the teacher, could have to face legal issues, a degree revocation, or, disqualified professionally. The trust is gone, the image is gone, the academic integrity, the so-called even academic integrity is gone. And with a teacher, with the student, the institutional reputation also suffers. So it is a multi-pronged, attack on the image of the institution, which is definitely very, very detrimental. When academic integrity is violated, it damages institutional rankings, because institutional rankings just do not depend on the kind of infrastructure you have or what is your academic output, but also what is the perception of your institution in the minds of the people outside, stakeholders outside. So any moment, any academic integrity incident happens, it is damaging the institutional image and consequently the rankings. Employers and partners of the institution are going to question the value of the degree after that. There is severe loss of accreditation in so many cases. If there is a continuous kind of environment that exists where academic integrity is being questioned, is being disputed, then of course the bodies that give accreditation also step back. There's a lot of impact on the stakeholders also. Students lose learning opportunities and career prospects if they, if they are caught and punished for such wrong things. The credibility of the faculty also suffers when misconduct goes unaddressed. What happens is there are many things which are going on forever. The students know, the colleagues know, so many people know about it, but nothing is being done about it. So anything which is going unnoticed, unaddressed, and is not taken care of to be set right by the concerned authority, that again hampers, brings down the credibility again, or not only of the faculty, but of the institution. And employers and society trust academic qualifications less, but the credibility is more in their mind. What is the image of that institution? I repeat myself, image just does not mean infrastructure, just does not mean that they have good facilities and they have advanced technical outputs, but it also means what is your faculty image, what your students are like, what does industry think of you, and what the stakeholders think of you. What is the general perception about your institution? There are various benefits also of the concept that we are discussing today. It takes us into a state of academic rigor. When we know that academic integrity is being watched, is being seriously taken care of, then what happens is that we go into a mode of introspection. We start thinking critically and we move towards self-reliance more. It also reduces dependence on shortcuts and unethical means. It could be contract cheating. It could be asking, your family members to do the correction of your copies. Somebody else prepares the award list, and it just goes on. It leads to genuine knowledge acquisition for the student also. When a student knows that he or she has to follow a certain method of writing an assignment, of writing an exam, or appearing for an online test, he or she becomes conscious, prepares accordingly, prepares with a good intensity for that assignment, test, or exam, can appear in it, because he or she then knows that there is no way out. पढ़ना है, खुद से perform करना है. So it establishes a system of academic rigor. It makes the students more regular. It makes the teachers more conscious. So when the teachers become, start giving more input, and the students also know that they have to do their work very seriously. Obviously, it leads to a beautiful and upgraded academic environment in any institution. The benefit that is there is of the institutional reputation that comes with such practices, because ethical practices enhance trust in the institution. It leads to better rankings and student attraction. And that is also essential for global collaborations and fundings. When an institutions has high level of credibility in the market, it has good image everywhere. Their alumni are well placed, their teachers are well known, their researchers are giving good output, their infrastructure is beautiful, and their placements are of the highest order, and they are giving good records. Then obviously, global collaborations will automatically pour in, and the diversification and the expansion in the field of education is going to grow many folds, and with it the students and teachers will grow. So academic integrity is not just something a bojha, let me use the word, it's just not a big stone kept on your head, but it is something which is going to bring you benefits along with it. Because when institutions grow, in the growth of the institution is the growth of the teacher, of the student. Both grow simultaneously. It's not that the institution can grow separately and the teacher and the students will grow separately. No, it is a very close-knit relationship. Another benefit is of ethical development. Academic ethics shape professional integrity. So we are producing students who are sought after by the industry. Students learn to act responsibly beyond academia, so their overall personality changes. And that is what education is all about. Taking a degree is very easy. Anybody can get it from anywhere. But producing good global citizens who are, with good mind and with a good mind and a good body, with a positive approach towards life, with the correct approach towards profession. If we are producing those kinds of individuals for the society, we are doing a good job. This is the job of an educational institution, not just distributing degrees, not just giving skills to the students, no, but producing individuals who become good global citizens. This is the job of any institution that is beyond academics. It is not just giving degrees, it is giving education. So that fosters lifelong moral values. And when educational institutions produce individuals who are very well-crafted personalities, it is a service which is going to be there for ages. So many students, take degrees from institutions every year. And if at least 80% of them are such that they are a blessing for any organization, not just professionally, but personally also, then it's going to be a beautiful world. So integrity is something which makes so many vices just disappear. And of course, universities, institutions are for student development. So students grow more confident when work is their own. That's true. If you just write a paragraph on your own, can you ever forget it? But if you keep reading somebody else's work all the time, you will just remember half of it. If you write 4 lines of your own, it's going to be there in your mind forever. So Ownership of learning leads to deeper understanding. That's what I want to hint at. Something which is your own. You think, you feel, you write, and you create. It leads to a deeper understanding. Something which is superficial, which you've just borrowed, lifted from somewhere, and just somehow, arrange the words to fill in the assignment, to, fill in the, required document, then that's not deep. That's not education. So ownership of learning has to occur. And that is what helps you build and develop resilience and problem solving skills. Because once you get the taste of doing something original and creative, you know that it is worth it. Toiling for it is worth it. जितनी मेहनत लग जाए लगने दो, मगर satisfactory आने वाला है. And then you understand that every problem can be solved. So when you are resilient, when you have a deep understanding, then all problems can be taken care of. You become an individual which has many capabilities. You polish your capabilities, you hone your skills, and then you become something like gold, as they say that fire is the test of gold. So you have to go through fire to become gold. And as they say, that fire is the test of gold, and adversity of strong men. So even if you face problems initially, you face adverse situations and circumstances initially, but ultimately, you become fine by undergoing all those things. Now comes the challenges that comes with academic integrity. So we know that different cultural backgrounds interpret plagiarism and collaboration differently. See, I told you when I was discussing in the initial slides that if you go to South Asia, if you go to Europe, if you go to UK, if you go to USA, New Zealand, Gulf, all have different academic environments and culture. But there are certain set standard rules which are followed worldwide. We know that we have to acknowledge someone else's work. We cannot steal someone else's idea. We cannot write or present a document or anything that we are presenting before someone just pretending that it is our own. No. Even when we are doing literature review for the work, what heavy citations does literature review carries. So no matter where we are, something which is right, something which logic tells you is not right, follow that. So international students may struggle to adapt to Western academic norms. That's true that, students, today is the era where, you are completing a degree. So 2 semesters you do from here and end semester you do from somewhere else. If there are certain, MOUs signed between institutions, or with this new, education policy in place that brings us at par with the international education system, it is possible that we have change of universities, transfer of credits, and we know about the academic bank of credits also. So it's easy for a student to switch university also and switch country also, even during a course. So studying in one country, then going out in another country, getting into the academic environment of, the country where you began your degree, and then going to another country and then getting accustomed to those academic environments, that is, the cultural differences are going to be a lot when it comes to the new educational scenario globally. So collaborations also, then have to be exercised with full restraint and, precautions. That is why international students may struggle to adapt to Western academic norms, because they're different everywhere. And that's a struggle, but it takes time, but then it has to be followed. Orientation programs help bridge these gaps. Of course, anywhere that we go, orientation programs are there, and they tell you about the do's and don'ts of being into a certain place. There's another challenge, is the pressure to perform. This does not stick to the education sector alone, but the pressure to perform has taken up humankind now, I think. You be in any profession, It's not the pressure to perform, but to outperform others. Create a special place for your own self. This cutthroat competition, and that pressure is building up day by day. Students also face academic, financial, and familial pressure. This pressure can lead to shortcuts and unethical practices. And sometimes the pressure is so much that it is very human to succumb to unethical practices and shortcuts. And if you it's not that I'm advocating something and supporting something, no, but what happens is that we know that following the right path is always very tedious. It demands a lot of time, energy, mental and physical health both. And to be on the right side and still be able to outshine others, you need some mental health support. You need emotional support. You need people who can good and positive people around you in the form of friends, teachers, at home, at workplaces, at your institutes, etc., so that you can continue with the kind of pressure that you are facing. Another challenge is inconsistent enforcement. As I said, then in the wake of lack of clear policies or uneven implementation across faculties, because there is no clarity about the set rules and regulations on this issue. So what happens is that somebody can get a favor, somebody cannot. So there is uneven implementation. This leads to confusion and perceptions of unfairness, and obviously that leads to grievances. And that consistency builds trust in academic processes. So if one thing is accepted as right and followed with proper reasons attached with it, and that helps to build trust in all the colleagues, all the people, all the stakeholders connected with an issue, and it does not hamper the development of academic processes. Consistency is the key. Another challenge is faculty engagement. Some faculty may avoid reporting misconduct due to time or uncertainty. If you're taking a test, student does something wrong. All of us know ये कोई rule नहीं है, मगर ये गलत है. तो हम क्या करते हैं, हम जाने देते हैं, उसको नहीं टोकते हैं. 10 मिनट बचे हैं, 5 मिनट बचे हैं, 2 मिनट बचे हैं. Something else is on our mind. We just want to wind up and go, but we fail to take proper actions, proper little action on that particular time. We just let it go. क्योंकि ऐसा कोई rule नहीं है. गलत है ये, मैं टोक सकती हूँ, मगर ऐसा कोई rule तो नहीं है. Right? So this is what happens, most of the time. We avoid reporting misconduct or checking misconduct at the very first instance. Then training and support encourages consistent enforcement. But if we keep on telling something that this is wrong, you did it last time, you've done it again today, and if you do it the third time, that will be punishable. You will be taken to task. So you have to develop a culture of, you have to train the students for something which is right. So consistent enforcement has to be there. It's not that once it is noticed, unnoticed, and you let it go, you then notice it and again let it go. No, it has to be noticed, and it has to be, at least the student has to be made to show that he or she has been noticed and that he or she has done something wrong, and a warning has to be issued. Academic leadership plays a critical role. That's very true. Whoever the HOD is, whoever, let us say, a principal is or the director is, has to inculcate that atmosphere, not just in students, but amongst teachers also. And that's a very difficult task. There are so many teachers, there are 20 teachers in a department or 20 teachers in a college, in a particular section or something like that. Not, हमारी तो सारी उंगलियां भी बराबर नहीं होती. तो इस तरह की चीजें जहाँ पे रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस क्लियर नहीं होते हैं, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना, एस्टैब्लिश करना भी एक बहुत बड़ा काम होता है. मुश्किल है और 100% किया भी नहीं जा सकता. Resource constraints is another challenge. there is, anything requires in, you have to give some inputs. Investments and inputs are required. So if you have to develop integrity policies and detection systems, then that requires investment. And there is no, when it comes to the government setups, in private setups, it could be approved and implemented and, put in place, detection systems, etc. But what happens into the other institutions where, everything is under red tapeism and it takes years for one thing to be implemented? And small and underfunded institutions may struggle because they do not have any head of accounts for these kind of policies and systems. Then collaborative tools and partnerships can mitigate costs. Then even if you want to collaborate, it's difficult. I don't see any possible collaborative partnership or something which can help us into, establishing integrity policies. The practices have to be of integrity training. It has to be done by repetition. जैसे पुराने ज़माने में जो वेद वगैरह होते थे वो लिखे नहीं थे, वो ज़बानों से पढ़ पढ़ के कह के एक से दूसरी जनरेशन को पास ऑन होते थे. और बहुत सारी जो रिलीजियस बुक्स हैं वो रिवील हुई हैं, उनको लिखा बाद में किया, राइट? ये जो तरह की चीजें हैं ना, बाय वर्ड और माउथ जो जनरेशन से पास होती हैं, सिंस वी डू नॉट हैव एनी रूल बुक, particular rule book which can be given, this is academic integrity and this is not, all right? So in such an environment, that training has to go on forever and forever. There have to be mandatory student modules on ethics and plagiarism, just as I talked about orientation programs in the previous slides, that they have to be told and not just forgotten. एक orientation program हो गया और एक मॉड्यूल करवा दिया और सब खत्म हो गया. नो, प्रोग्राम और मॉड्यूल जरूरी है, बच्चे को बताना जरूरी है, टीचर को भी बताना बहुत जरूरी है, मगर कोई भी ऐसा मौका जहां उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने को आए, वो इम्प्लीमेंट होना चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाट इज अनसेड रूल और एन अनरिटन रूल. सो टिल द टाइम वी गेट सेट रेगुलेशंस, we have to follow the unwritten rule. Workshops and tutorials build awareness and competence. We have to keep talking about it. It could be part of curriculum. It could be part of, an essential workshop every year or something like that. Ongoing learning is more effective than one-off sessions. That's what I say, that has to be repetitive. That is why I'm talking about passing of, such Vedas and other holy books from one generation to another by word of mouth. कह के याद करना, बोल के याद करना. Ongoing learning is very important. Honor codes have to be in practice. There are so many things. हम सबको अपने स्कूल की प्लेज याद है कि हम एक अच्छे सिटीजन बनेंगे, इंडियन सिटीजन बनेंगे, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन को अपहोल्ड करेंगे, ऑल इंडियंस आर माय ब्रदर्स एंड सिस्टर्स, राइट? सो लेकिन वो हमें अभी तक याद है. हम उस बात को हमने उसको बहुत सीरियसली लिया, राइट? So any written pledge committed to ethical behavior, or any competitions focusing on such aspect, etc. And this has been used in institutions like Stanford and Princeton, that fosters accountability and peer regulation. So that culture has to be reminded that it is something very important. It is part of the learning process of a student and the teacher, of course. And it has to be continuous, ongoing. It's not to be spoken about today and forgotten for the rest of the year. Another practice is of assessment design, where authentic assessments reduce cheating opportunities. That is also very true. That हर problem के साथ एक solution होता है. That is the beauty of the digital world today. That if there can be tests that can have less cheating opportunities. The tests have to be designed in such a way, such kind of workshops and trainings can be given, or guidelines can be given at least about that. So there are frequent low stakes. Testing discourages misconduct. And it can prevent misconduct to a great extent, and then use of oral exams, portfolios, and reflective essays have to be, given to students so that they write certain reflective essays on such sensitive topics, sensitive, important topics that is going to take them forward, right? And they can be oral exams. We used to have, if all of you remember, moral science in school, moral teachings class and all. And I still remember that my principal used to take that class, and she would come to us and just talk about certain good things in life, how to become a nice person, how to be of helpful nature, how to be develop cleanliness in your life, or let us say cross simple good things like helping an old person to cross the road, or if somebody cannot see, there is a person who cannot see on the road and he wants to cross the road, help that person, right? If there is a stray dog that is not well and that is not that has it's not well, it has been hurt, attend to that animal, right? So these kinds of things were taught to us, and we did not appear for any moral science exam, written exam or something like that, but yes, we were given grades for it. But somehow I feel that they stayed with us because of the way we were taught, and who talked to us about those things, and in what manner. So in a similar way, the academic integrity, the concept and the practice has to be intertwined in our curriculum design. There are several plagiarism detection tools like Copyscape, Turnitin, SafeAssign, etc. We all know about it, but it has to be complemented with human judgment. We know, because if I write something like, if somebody asks me what is your name, so I will obviously say my name is Sheeba Hamid. अब my name is जो है, अगर वो उसको plagiarism बताएगा तो इसमें मैं क्या कर सकती हूँ? What is my fault in it? Here is where the human judgment has to come into action. That if she has written by Sheeba Hamid, तो उसका नाम ही है, लेकिन इसने क्वेश्चन का जवाब ही तो दिया है my name is, लेकिन my name is को वो डिटेक्ट करेगा कि साहब ये plagiarism है. तो what can be done? So machine जितनी helpful है उतनी idiotic भी है at times. So human judgment has to be there.
Similarity index के नाम पे,
जी,
it is shown. Yeah.
जी. So also it is useful for feedback and student learning, that when they start writing, so their initial papers, they come out with a high percentage of plagiarism, but slowly and slowly when they keep on writing and publishing, they understand that this is the technique to bring down plagiarism. They learn with time. Academic advising should be a practice. The faculty mentors guide ethical academic behavior. As I said, I still remember my principal taking moral science classes for us. I still remember what we used to do in our socially useful and productive work classes. We never got marks on it. We could never fail in them. But yes, we remember. We remember cleaning our own school. We remember watering the plants in the school. We remember, going on certain visits to children's hospitals, and so many other things. And though not just the classroom teaching, but these kinds of activities actually shaped what we are today. As I said, it is not just about books. It is not just about experiments. It is not just about degrees, but it is about becoming educated and becoming good global citizens. That is the need of the hour. And when we develop good academic behavior, when we talk to the students about that, and we intervene at the very early stage, that of course reduces the risk of misconduct. And that can begin even while, we are taking classes. Even while we are taking classes and asking questions in the class, if we notice something which is not proper according to academic integrity standards, we must always tell our students that this is not. We have to make them realize. So it's okay if you take a diversion for 5 minutes from the main topic to tell them about academic integrity. it's okay because that's part of our duty. Advisors help students manage time and expectations. Yes, every student has to learn that a time is allotted for any and every activity that has to be followed, expectations. And if we have somebody from the first year, let us say from the first semester, has done something wrong, then of course we are not going to take that person to task. We're going to tell him or her about what wrong has been done, why is it wrong, and that he or she is supposed to know that this is wrong. So we have to give the person some time to understand what this academic integrity is. The institutional policies should be clear, accessible, and consistently enforced policies. As I said, ongoing. They should include definitions, procedures, and sanctions. We should, as Sir told us about certain cases of different universities and what was actually in those cases, what happens, it was about plagiarism. So we have to keep talking about such things. See, such a thing happened and that person was severely punished. So these kind of things also encourage the students to keep those incidents in mind and act accordingly. And transparency encourages compliance and fairness. And when there is transparency, if the teacher is following academic integrity standards, if all others in that particular department or college or institute, they are following transparency, it's transparent, then, it is an unsaid compliance. Everybody starts complying to those standards. Online proctoring during exams is very important. It has to be done through AI-based tools. There are many such examples of it, and then it raises ethical concerns around privacy and accessibility, and alternative assessments के साथ ये best use होती है. मुझे ऐसा कोई experience तो अभी तक नहीं हुआ है कि online proctoring तो it's only possible when the examinee is sitting in a controlled atmosphere, controlled environment, but there must be certain apps or some kind of a detection system which can do that. And ensure minimal kind of misconduct that can happen in the conduct of assessments or any other such exam. Here we have an example of University of Sydney, who have adopted a proactive academic integrity strategy in 2019, and that has reduced misconduct through prevention and training. So they have developed a strategy. And that must be public, or everybody must have access to that. So they know that these are the standards we have to follow. And they are published annual integrity reports for transparency. That's also a very good idea, that you keep on publishing literature at the end of the year on such things, for which there are no set international standards, even no set international standards to be followed all across the world. This is another example of University of Cape Town, which has integrated integrity values in curriculum. As I just said, that it is good to have, small diversions. It's okay to have small diversions if you have to tell a student something about academic integrity while you are talking about space science even. So student and staff have to collaborate in policy development. Both sides have to take part. And they have to use the ethics ambassador program, that if we are organizing programs on various aspects in the university, why aren't we talking about academic integrity? And it is so good that, this program today, where we all are here, has a module on academic integrity. So this is the kind of thing that has to be followed in many other ways, at many other levels, with all stakeholders related with education. Coming to ICAI research findings, which is a survey across 70 institutions, 68% of students admitted to cheating, and they must have got unnoticed also. Prevention and consistent enforcement reduce repeat violations, and that is true. That is human nature. If you're told something repeatedly, you tend to accept it with passing time. And engagement is the key to effectiveness. You have to keep your staff, your teachers, students engaged to be effective when it comes to implementation of such policies. The benefits and challenges of technology. The tech aids detection also enables misconduct. Example of ChatGPT misuse. This is so much there today. All the presentations and all students who are bringing, the technical help is from there. But one thing is there, even if they have taken technical help from there or they have not studied the framework, what they have to do is, when they have to present, you can make out whether they have studied on that or not. So at least I can say 70% you can give them credit for the work which they have presented well, even if it is the technical portion has been done by ChatGPT. But again, the question is that why should we follow a framework given by a machine? It must have serious limitations. So what is to be done is that, as in the previous slide, there was, it was written somewhere that human judgment is supreme. So even if something is being done from ChatGPT, you have to read it, refine it, and use your own brain and still feel superior. No, ChatGPT, any app, any machine is not superior than my brain. That kind of an attitude has to be there. So AI literacy and ethical guidelines are also very essential. And technology must be supported by pedagogy. As I said just now, that even if something has been taken, you've taken help from ChatGPT to write, read it, refine it. Tell the machine that, no, I am superior. I have given you a command. What is the role of faculty? Because faculty sets the tone through syllabus and class behavior. Whatever a teacher does in the class, the way he or she conducts the class, the way he or she picks up topics to speak to the students. And I have always been fascinated by teachers since my childhood who not only teach subject, but also teach life. And if they have the special capacity to link their subject to life, it's something very beautiful. Because that is what builds teacher and student relationship. And we are not just supposed to, as I said, produce commodities for the industry. We are supposed to produce human beings of superior order. All human beings are good. God has given same kind of, same level, same kind of capacities to everyone. किसी को कुछ. But human element तो सब में है. और सही और गलत की पहचान ये सबको आनी चाहिए. और सब्जेक्ट पढ़ा के निकालना बहुत आसान है, वो तो एक मशीन भी पढ़ा देगी. आजकल ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज होते हैं, रिकॉर्डेड लेक्चर्स होते हैं, आप वो पढ़ाइए और जाइए, बस इतना ही लेना देना है स्टूडेंट और टीचर का. लेकिन education is not limited to this, becoming a production house for industry. And that has been a bone of discontentment or a dispute basis between industry and academia. That we are not just breeding grounds for commodities for the industry. So when it comes to integrity, also academic integrity, it cannot be in syllabi, but it can be related with syllabus. It can be related with life. And that is what's going to create an atmosphere and environment for this kind of an upgraded environment, which is, you see, it's not part of syllabus. It does not have just a second, please. It does not have syllabus, but see how important it is, because it builds the institution's image, which is the most important thing. It attracts the students. it takes your rankings and your accreditations higher up, in spite of the fact that it is not part of syllabus. This is how important it is. And if we have model in integrity behavior, teachers have, show it in the class, of course, it is going to influence student behavior. And with little support and little training, that is going to improve their confidence. What is the role of students? Because they're both beneficiaries and custodians of integrity. Peer pressure can discourage misconduct. That's also true. That you can have such monitors, integrity monitors. हमारे यहाँ energy monitors होते हैं, class representatives होते हैं. Why can't we have integrity monitors? Those who can give a, shout out the moment something wrong is being done. It's just a funny idea, but yes, we can have. Because these are the ones who have to learn. They have to become custodians of this important aspect that is academic integrity. And they should be involved in policy discussions also. Because students are, amongst their peer, face many things which we do not know of. Teachers amongst our own group face many things which students do not know of. So each stakeholder is very important in the academic environment of any institution. And from each section, discussions and suggestions have to be taken. The best practice principles are of the universities in Australia that have promoted a culture of integrity and student responsibility. They have provided accessible education and consistent consequences, and they regularly review their policies and practices. Something which, because as I told you, just like technology, it changes every now and then. So we have to, create a system of upgrading to that level every now and then. Similarly, this is a field, integrity is something which cannot be put inside a box of definition. It cannot be, put inside in a bottle that this is integrity. Integrity will keep on showing its faces every now and then. So it is very important that we take regular review of policies and practices and keep on adding to the document. That should be there for in public domain to be read by students, teachers, and other stakeholders. And coming to the conclusion, we know that academic integrity is vital to educational quality and trust. It is very important to have collaboration between faculty, students, and institutions. And ongoing adaptation is something which is going to ensure relevance in changing environments. So continuity has to be made. Exposing the students, orienting them about such concepts with the ongoing consistent efforts in the classroom, teachers depicting role model behavior, policies and discussions in public forum, programs and policies, programs being arranged on such topics, activities organized on such, aspects, and, a culture being created. So this ongoing adaptation is something is the real key. And with my closing thoughts are the ones that I began with, that integrity is doing right even when observed. So this is limitless. This has no limit. So we have to take care of something which is limitless. That's a big task, but yes, since we are into the noblest profession in the world, we are the ones who are going to do it, along with our students, along with, other support and technical staff of the university, and with the stakeholders involved. With this, I come to the end of my presentation. I think I have finished just on time. So
thank you, Professor Sheeba Hamid ji. Friends, this was an excellent blueprint.
Thank you, ma'am.
Academic integrity. अब तक जो भी आप लेक्चर सुने थे, AI, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के बारे में सुना था. Artificial intelligence tools you can use only to check your grammar and all. लेकिन आप अगर poet तो you can't become poet with the help of chat GPT or these AI tools. आप अगर आप टैगोर बनना है, इकबाल बनना है, गालिब बनना है, उसके लिए मेहनत करनी पड़ेगी. अपना poets are actually born. They are not made by AI tools. So that is why she provided an excellent framework of how to follow. देखिए, these AI tools and all these things may make you literate. अगर आपका इनका जो रिग्रेस जो प्रैक्टिस इन्होंने बताया, फ्रेंड्स, म्यूट योरसेल्फ, तो इससे आप एक एजुकेटेड शख्स बनेंगे. You will become an educated person. The objective of education is to become an educated person, not only literate person. तो ये बेहतरीन है. We request Professor Sheeba ji to share her PPT. अगर देखिए, आपने देखा होगा इंडियन यूनिवर्सिटीज में 90% PhD thesis are not published because they are not worth publishing. कोई छापेगा नहीं उसको, because they have not followed the rigorous guidelines which Sheeba ji has provided in her today's lecture. And she gave the example of Cape Town University, Australian universities, framework, how to check the academic integrity. Academic integrity बहुत ही important है. हमने आपको बिगिनिंग में बताया कि पौंडीचेरी यूनिवर्सिटी की लेडी वाइस चांसलर को कपिल सिब्बल ने डिसमिस कर दिया because of plagiarism charges. Some people have lost job, no pension. If you are terminated from your service, you will not get pension benefits, retirement benefits, etc. It's a very serious matter. Instead of writing, say, 100 papers which are plagiarized and published in the predatory journals, if you publish 10 good articles in standard journals like published by Oxford University or Cambridge University or JSTOR journals or Project Muse or Springer, Routledge, उतना ही काफी है, So I am thankful to her for providing an excellent, paradigm to bring rigorous assessment of our academic activities. Thank you very much, madam. 5 या 10 minutes, अगर if you permit some questions if there are.
Sure, I would love, sir.
Friends, 2-3 क्वेश्चन हम ले सकते हैं. 10 मिनट तक हम एक्सीड कर सकते हैं.
सर वैसे इस टॉपिक पे सेशन मैंने पहली बार लिया है. आज मेरा मेडन सेशन था.
ना बहुत ही अच्छा है, बहुत ही अच्छा है.
आपकी प्रेजेंस ने मुझे और हिला रखा था.
नहीं, ऐसी कोई बात नहीं है. देखिए, हमने कई I was asked to review a paper for Springer journal. तो editor tells me, क्योंकि anonymous review होता है ना, you do not know the author's name and the author does not know the reviewer's name. The editor told me that once your report comes, we will send it to the author if you are recommended any major changes, and if it is accepted for publication or if it is finally published, then you will know whose paper you had reviewed. Later I came to know that it was by a British professor who is having the title of Sir Syed Ahmed Khan, Sir Radhakrishnan, जो नाइटहुड क्वीन ऑफ इंग्लैंड से मिलता है. उनके आर्टिकल को अच्छा अगर पहले से बता देते तो हम खुद सोचते हैं कि भाई इतना बड़ा आदमी लिखा है तो अच्छा ही होगा. When you do not know who he has written, you will reflect your mind. You will be very critical. You will be very critically, reviewing the paper. These are the academic parameters, standards, which we have to follow. I am very happy that someone like Sheeba Hassan exists in Aligarh Muslim University. I was not aware of her, and because we have not interacted much, though we had.
मैं हाजिर होंगी आपके पास.
एक हमारे I was knowing one of your teachers, क्या नाम था, समीउद्दीन साहब.
जी.
His wife was in our department political.
Abda.
Both are not alive now. So otherwise, only once I had visited your department, which was near Mintu School, I think. I don't know where it is now.
It's still there.
It is still there. Okay. Long ago I had visited.
Please do visit us.
Though, madam, I do not stay in Aligarh. I am staying in New Delhi. This course I am coordinating from Delhi.
Okay.
And I never studied in Aligarh Muslim University. I only got job there. I studied in JNU and Karnataka, and I am from South India.
I know
Okay.
that, sir. I know that.
Thank you. Friends, any questions? Quick, two, three questions. देखिए सीरियस मैटर पे बहुत कम सवाल पूछ रहे हैं आप. AI टूल्स पे तो बहुत पूछा आप लोगों ने कि किस तरह से यूज करना है, बिकॉज AI टूल इज ट्राइंग टू हेल्प यू, बट इनके जो पैरामीटर्स यार्डिस्टिक्स थे ये बड़े सीरियस हैं. इसीलिए हम कहते हैं, कई लोगों को कहते हैं, अपने स्टूडेंट्स को कहते हैं कि भाई अच्छा पेपर, सीरियस पेपर लिखने के लिए 1 साल का रिसर्च चाहिए. वन रिसर्च पेपर, इफ इट इज वर्थ पब्लिशिंग in a standard journal, whether it is in Project Muse, Springer, Cambridge, Oxford, Brill एक लॉ में ये है. Brill is the publisher, 300-year-old publisher from Netherlands. इनमें छापना, it is an achievement, you know. Friends, madam, I think there are no questions. Actually, we are on the fag end of the course. Today is the 29th day. All our participants are, sitting from 9 o'clock till 4 o'clock.
I know that, sir.
Every day, and they will be benefited. Kindly share your PPT so that we can share to all the participants.
Sure, sir.
Thank you very much. I request Akanksha Sharma is visible. Can I request you to propose vote of thanks to our learned Professor Sheeba Hamid ji?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you, Bijapur, sir, for giving me this opportunity on behalf of AMU and UGC, MMTTC. I wholeheartedly thank our distinguished resourceful person, I should say.
Yes, we have coined a term, madam. We have coined a term that whoever gives a wonderful lecture, we call them as resourceful person.
Resourceful.
Yes. Continue, Akanksha.
Thank you, Sheeba ma'am from AMU, who gave such an outstanding lecture on academic integrity. You explained the intricacies of the topic so nicely, ma'am. The lecture was so informative and insightful. Then I also thank Abdul Rahim Bijapur sir, who is the backbone of our course, and we all are thankful to sir for organizing such a knowledgeable platform for all of us. And last but not the least, I thank my fellow participants who had listened to this lecture so patiently. Thank you.
Thank you all, friends. Thank you. Thank you, madam.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I would love to see you sometime.
Thank
and
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
इनके बताए नुस्खे पर अगर आप पेपर लिखेंगे तो आप में से कोई टैगोर निकलेगा, कोई अमर्त्य सेन निकलेगा, कोई एमिनेंट स्कॉलर